Hello everyone, welcome to Jewish Week Online. We're here with the Jewish Funk team at the Taking Back Zionist Event in New York City. This event is sponsored by the Birthright Israel Alumni Community. What is Zionism? It's complicated. Sometimes you really cannot explain what it means to you. Let's hear from some people and their perspectives on Zionism.
Zionism is that all Jews should live in Israel? Isn't that what it is?
It's whatever you want.
I think that's what it is. It's Jewish self-determination, right?
All right. What about yourself?
To me, Zionism would be standing your ground, especially for people who have been pushed around and forced out of nearly every country in the world at some point in history. To me, Zionism is realizing that you're not the bad guy, you're not the enemy. Israel is one of the most humane countries in the world with one of the most humane armies, and they should stay that way despite what uneducated people have to say about it.
I think it's simply just our combined love of Israel and the feeling and the spiritual wholeness we feel when we're there.
I think just being a Jew and loving Israel.
I actually don't have a definition of Zionism. I think it means different things for different people. For some, it's the heritage, the history of our people. For some, it's the Torah. For some, it's multicultural. It's an evolving concept.
Representing the true Israel.
Zionism is a word that defines what young people should do and the way they should think to support Israel and to keep the Jewish faith alive.
Thank you so much.
There's not one definition of Zionism. It's personal.
It's believing in the state of Israel and doing everything you can to make it still exist and being proud.
A passion for Israel and the desire to go back.
My definition of Zionism is to take back Judaism.
What's your definition?
Supporting Israel.
My definition of Zionism is an unconditional love for the Holy Land.
Zionism is commitment, compassion, and dedication.
Well, it's the Jewish people taking responsibility for its own life, its own destiny. Undoubtedly, the most successful national movement of the 20th century.
And, you know, looking around now, there's a lot of Zionists partying. Birthright Israel, Taglit-Birthright Israel, has been doing a tremendous amount. Over 230,000 people have already gone. Where do you see it going? And how do you think the Israeli government is going to continue to support?
Well, first of all, we should continue the support for Birthright. To my mind, Birthright is probably the most important thing that is happening today in Jewish life. For one simple reason, Birthright is virtually changing the conversation that takes place about Israel these days. The people that come back from Birthright know that there's more to Israel than just the dispute with its neighbors, that Israel represents many things to many people, that Israel can be relevant to them. One of the areas where we're lacking today, Israel is not being perceived as a relevant place for younger Jews in the United States, in Europe, and elsewhere. But we know that Israel has a very appealing and very compelling story to tell younger people all over the world, Jews and non-Jews. Birthright is helping us, changing that perception. And I think today, Birthright is the #1 change agent that Israel has worldwide.
We're speaking to you this evening from Washington. Who can forget their first visit to Israel? I can't. It's almost frightening for me to admit it now, about 40 years ago. But I'll never forget that moment, walking down that street and seeing the cab drivers, the policemen directing traffic, the young soldiers, men and women, and thinking they're all part of my people.
My definition is Zionism is a commitment to the Jewish future and probably a commitment to Israel as a central aspect of that Jewish future.
And I've staffed 11 Taglit-Birthright Israel trips, and you have been you were the founder of this incredible program. What do you look to see in the next 10 years?
I hope that we can deepen the understanding of Birthright participants beyond just the trip itself, so that we build real Jews from Birthright participants. Because many of them go on Birthright with very little Jewish background. And my hope is that somehow, some way, Birthright will inspire them to understand the deeper meaning of being Jewish.
And you've been a proponent of follow-up, and just seeing tonight.
What is this?
What do you think? What is the best thing? What's been like the inspiration for you to continue this project?
My commitment to the Jewish future, because I think the Jewish future has to be an awful lot better than the Jewish present, particularly in the diaspora, which is, I think, a weak present.
Great. Thanks so much for your time.
You're very welcome.
As you can see, it was a fantastic event. A lot of interesting perspectives on what Zionism means to each individual. This is Oren and thanks for watching.